Welcome to NFL Daily, where we are on a roll fading the Cowboys. I am Greg Rosenthal here in the Chris Wesseling podcast studio with my friend who joins us for our Friday Picks show every week, Cynthia Frelund.
Hi, how you doing?
On a little bit of a roll here.
Hey, you know, that's how we live.
When we join forces, fading the Cowboys the last 2 weeks, we are 2-0 each, a combined 4-0 if you wanted to count our records. But I don't know if you know this. I haven't told you this. I went 3-0 again last week, so I am on a 6-0
You're on a tear.
heater, and you're also doing great as well. You've had 4 out of 5 winning weeks, so we both are well in the winning margin for the season. It is all happening, Cynthia. What is going to be your first pick? We pick 3 games against the spread each and every week.
Okay. I think this week my starting point is going to be fading the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if I was going to go there again or not, but tell me why.
I mean, to be fair, it's hard. 7.5 is a weird number.
Okay.
But I don't care. I have it for more than that. I ultimately believe the fact that even though the Dallas defense has gotten some pressure, I just think with Nico Collins coming back, they're going to treat this as a let's get Nico back. They have the best, so second best in terms of quarterback to wide receiver and passer rating. So 133.3, that's what happens for C.J. Stroud when Nico Collins is there.
Oof.
And he hasn't been on the field, so I think they're going to treat this like they would treat maybe like not a preseason game, because that's not what I mean, but like integrating him back into the lineup, run all the routes, let's get targets here, let's get targets there. Like, this is a great opportunity for that. And plus, you know, you can run on the Cowboys, and Joe Mixon, turns out he's a running back.
He's a great running back.
Running back.
The fact that they haven't been able to get their early down run game consistent, there's a lot of lost, stuffs and negative run.
Yeah, but look,
That's against good teams.
but you have to also realize, like, Lions are very good at that. Like, it's
Yes.
I understand that, like, it's weird saying that as a Lions fan. I almost feel like I'm lying, but like the Lions are
Yeah,
really
they're
good
great.
at that.
No, you're absolutely right. So I had the Cowboys fading them as possibly my third pick. And
Okay.
I wasn't sure whether I would or not. And I had it 7. Probably depends where you look. You're right. I think it's moved up to 7.5.
Yep.
But you know what? I like being on the same team as you.
Let's do
And
it.
so if I'm putting a big question mark, and I'll get to the one I was considering
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
If it was on the edge anyways as my third pick,
Yep.
I will also go Houston minus 7.5
Woo!
on the road in Dallas. Look, it's all about the Cowboys offense for me. The reason why I'm
Yep.
a little anxious about it is just the Cowboys defense last week with Micah Parsons back. If you watch that game, it took the Eagles about 7 drives to get to that second touchdown, and they got a lot of pressure, and that's against a good Eagles O-line, and I think about that matchup, and it's home, and they got to be embarrassed, and I just think the Cowboys defense will be okay. And yes, the return of Nico Collins matters a lot, but this offensive line and so that I was just worried, man, is this going to be the third quarter, and it's 17-10, and I'm sweating this out.
Yes, probably.
But it's the other.
Doesn't matter.
No, it's the other side of the ball. I don't want to sweat this out. The last couple of weeks, we've been hitting like ones that are over mid-third quarter. It's the other side of the ball. I mean, Cooper Rush averaged less than 2 yards per pass last week every time he dropped back. He now has a neck injury.
His quarterback win stat is really good.
Right. He has won a lot of games.
Not a stat.
And the Texans,
Not a thing.
they did get Danielle Hunter back at practice on Thursday. We're not for sure whether Will Anderson is going to play in this game, so that's obviously a concern. But when they got Azeez Al-Shaair back last week, I think that really helped them against the Lions. They are one of the most consistent week-to-week defenses in the NFL. I think they're one of the few difference-making defenses in the NFL. So if you're telling me one of the few difference-making defenses in the NFL against this Cowboys team, like the over-under I'm giving for Cowboys on points in this game is like 10.
Right.
So
Right.
give me the 7.5. We are both on the Texans again. We've been riding this fade train for the Cowboys. Let's keep it rolling. Keep my undefeated streak going. If I get to 9-0, like if you think I'm insufferable now,
I don't think you're ever insufferable.
3 straight weeks,
I don't really think you're insufferable. Like, I actually rooting for it because I think it's funny. Doesn't mean that I am rooting against myself. We can both be.
We're competing, but we're both winning right now, and we're giving our audience.
How great who would win if we both win all from here on out? Like, everyone, the listener, you would win.
That's
listener.
absolutely right. All right, give
love
me your
you.
second pick. We are both on the Cowboys losing by more than 7.5 points at home to the Texans. What is your second pick?
Indianapolis and the points.
Okay.
I have the Jets winning outright, but I have Indianapolis with the points, and it's very volatile on the Jets side, and I don't like that, so I'm punishing them because I have proven to I have stayed committed to taking the picks in my model. I don't go against my model. You know this.
Yeah.
But I hate that pick. Like if I had to tell you what I believe, it's Colts. I'm taking if I had to, Colts.
Wait, but you're taking the Jets.
Well, straight up. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
Sorry.
say whatever we
I
want.
don't know. I have a lot of
We
like
do a show
beaten
on
down fear.
NFL Network. And
I understand.
we
but
don't
I
mention it
wanna
a lot.
get you
And
in
the
trouble.
listeners for this show would be particularly interested. Game Day View on NFL Network each and every week.
Yeah.
The first airing is very early in the morning on the West Coast on Friday, but it has multiple airings throughout the weekend, including on Sunday morning before Game Day morning. So you can set your DVR to our picks there. But so your pick is Jets +4 or -4.
No, my pick is Colts
Oh, Colts plus.
+4.
Oh,
I'm saying I have the Jets.
That's what I thought.
But I have the Colts because I hate this.
All that matters is the Colts covering.
Right.
That's all that matters.
That's right. I'm
On
just
this
telling you, but I'm just explaining that
Yeah.
part of the reason why I specifically or pacifically, depending on how you speak English, wanted this one is because sometimes I get mad at my own model.
Right. And so you're not happy that your
No.
model has the Jets winning this
I want
game.
the
Your
Colts-
model's been heavy on the Jets all season. Now,
My model,
the Vegas
Jets
has
are
too.
screwing me over.
Vegas has 2. Frankly, when I looked at this one, and this was the fourth game I was debating. So this one's going to be in my little box. It's not going to be on my 3 official picks, but I'm with you. I agree with you. The fourth pick that I was debating was either Colts +4 or Texans -7.5.
Right.
And I'm going to put it as like my extra pick this week.
Right.
But I'm prepared to agree with you because I am picking the Colts straight up in this game. The vibes could not be worse. I mean, it's not that the Jets are just losing these games. When they're losing these games, they are not competitive. I think it could actually be worse at home. I think their offense will be okay in this game against the Colts, but the Colts have been getting better pass rush lately since they got DeForest Buckner back. And I think Anthony Richardson is a plus. I look at him as giving the Colts a better chance to win with a ground-based attack against this Jets run defense, which just had no fight last week. And some people, you just look up front and you think, oh, they can't stop the run. That's part of it. But you know what a big part of it is Sauce Gardner and that defensive backfield. It's a bunch of skinny corners and safeties who can't tackle. And in the NFL today, like, they will test your edges. I think they use Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson on the edge, and Sauce Gardner and those guys are just missing tackle after tackle week after week. So I love your Indy +4. I think you're 2-0.
Can I tell you something? I spent far too much time looking at what happened with my model and where Jonathan Taylor with Anthony Richardson starting, especially because Jeff Ulbricht's sitting there on his podium being like, we couldn't make any tackles last week in Arizona, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? Actually, Jonathan Taylor's projection went up with Anthony Richardson. Why? Because Anthony Richardson can't be doing wild things. He can't be – right now he has like the highest air yard per attempt average of any – like it's like 13 yards per attempt. It's a wild number.
It's insane.
So in order to keep him from turning the ball over, shorter passes, but also the threat of the run. And who are they going to defend? Are they going to defend Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor? The answer is both, but like how, right? So Jonathan Taylor, don't be afraid of his rushing yard total over. Gosh, I'm using all these G words. I'm scaring myself.
You can absolutely.
I know, but I've been the fear of God has been beaten into me about that.
Yeah, for years we had to walk this.
We had to say like the worst. People would be like, your grammar's terrible. I'm like, you try speaking in code.
Yeah, we had to speak in a weird code. It was essentially a pick show. It was essentially a gambling show, but it was like you couldn't advertise it that way.
And we'd say more or less.
Yeah, not high or low.
Jeez,
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I feel so good about Packers -5.5. I can't believe this number has gone back to the Packers during the week. It was actually higher when I looked initially. It was 6 earlier. Now it's 5.5. Sometimes it's just over in life. The numbers that your model spits out, and you're probably on the same side as me, are you? But even Vegas, they can't totally measure when it's just over. These are human beings, and you don't get the dead coach bounce with the offensive coordinator change. So there's 2 reasons I'm picking this one. Okay, you want to step in?
No.
Go.
I'm doing this is reason 1.
Thank you. Reason number 1. Everyone thinks that. Okay, the Bears offense is a mess, but it's a good defense, right? It's a good Bears defense. Like, okay, their defense is fine. They do not rush the passer very well. Like, they're getting Montez Sweat back, but they're not really a great pass rush team. Very mediocre in terms of getting to the quarterback, in terms of pass rush win rate, all that stuff. Number 2, they don't stop the run at all. They're actually quite poor stopping the run. So you're going to tell me they're a difference-making defense when, A, you don't really rush the passer at an exceptional rate, you're average, and then B, you're legitimately bad stopping the run. They are 30th in DVOA, that's total efficiency against the run. That measures their schedule. That's been a big part of the reason why their defense is overrated. They're 13th overall on defense by that metric because of the schedule. They haven't played anyone, and when they've started playing some teams like the Cardinals, for instance, they got run over. And then, look, I got a third point. Andrew Billings was by far their best run stopper. They kind of count on a nose tackle to take up 2 blockers on the interior.
He's a huge man.
Very underrated player, was playing at a high level for them. He just went out for the season 2 weeks ago, so I think they're significantly worse than they were then. The offense is obviously a mess, and we don't even need to talk about how bad the offense is, but I truly believe it's over. These last 2 games were 2 of the worst games I've ever seen from an offensive staff and offensive team, and you're playing a good Packers team. I think they win by 25. Like, I love it. Give me this Packers one.
I'm with you on that. I will say, here's my we're going down a nerd rabbit hole, but it's okay because I have my glasses on. So when I'm wearing my glasses, I can be nerdier. I did this thing where I tracked where the volume of money was going on bets and which fans are disproportionately irrational about their team, and Chicago fans are pretty irrational, meaning they get a little change and they're like, we're winning now, right? Like, they swing all the way back to, like, they're very like, we hate you, we love you, we hate you, we love you. So I think part of that is to entice those Bears fans. They'll make in Vegas. I also read all these 10Ks and these earnings. I do nerdy stuff and I have a lame free time. I read these earnings report. The casinos have been getting hammered a little bit. So look out for these lines to be a little wild because they need to entice some fans.
All
Just
right.
saying, little business 101 here, with
they're enticing me right now. To go Packers -5.5. And it's funny you say that because every year on the over-under draft that we've been doing on the podcast, which I am on a wild winning streak on the last couple of years. Man, I'm just patting myself on the back too much.
Why not?
The Bears over-under before the start of the season is always
like
too high. And I've gone under every year, and I did it again this year. It was 9.5 in some places, but I feel good that whether you got it at 8.5 or 9.5, it's going to be under. All right, let's go to your final pick.
My final pick. Speaking of a team that hit their win totals or will be hitting their win totals should they win this game, Denver. 5.5 wins was the win total ahead of the season.
Yeah,
they're at 5 right now. I'm feeling good about that one. I hammered that one pretty hard, so I would have been really eating crow or eating Bronco, I guess.
I think you're getting it this week.
Wrong. Yeah, I think that this week, I think not only do they get the win at home against Atlanta, but I do have a win by more than 2 points. 2.
It's crazy. It's
a wild.
All these notes.
Are we becoming the same person?
Denver is my second person. That would be great for me.
No, not really.
I would get way
Think
more
about how much,
Instagram followers. It'd be very exciting.
Let's be fair. I'd rather have your wit and quick bit.
No.
Anthony Jeselnik is my favorite, so to be best friends with him would be great.
I'm
actually scared of him, but
glad you brought that up. The Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project is back this week.
I know.
I don't think I've mentioned that on NFL Daily.
I'm really excited about this.
Check that out.
I'm really excited about this.
I appreciate it. So I'm with you. Denver was my number 2 pick.
Woo!
It was locked and loaded, -2.5 I saw. So whether it's 2.5,
okay.
whatever, either way, I'm going full believer.
Believer.
Now, the Broncos has been part of this show for my picks 3 straight weeks now. I went against them with Baltimore. We got it. We both were with them last week. Mine was in the extra picks, the box, but you nailed it with the +8. I agreed with you on that. There's a couple reasons. I just like the physical matchup up front. The Falcons with the worst pressure rate, the worst sack rate in the entire NFL against a Broncos offensive line that's really underrated. Number 1 in pass block win rate right now. PFF has them as the number 2 pass protection team in the league. So that's a huge mismatch. And Bo Nix's numbers, when he's protected, they're fantastic. So that's the numbers reason. The more reason why I do it sometimes is I just look at the records. And Patrick brought this up on the preview show. The Falcons, to me, they're not a 7-4 team. They need to come back to their water. Their water is 6-5. I look at the Falcons; they don't deserve to be 7-4. Whether the Broncos deserve to be 6-5, yeah, that sounds about right. A little above average. They've lost 2 straight. The Broncos on the road to really good teams, Ravens and Chiefs. They're coming back home. They need it more. I like them in this spot to win the game, and I just don't believe in the Falcons defense at all. And I think they get cooked in this game. Sean Payton's really been doing a good job kind of building up this offense bit by bit.
I've been trying to figure it out right now, but Mike McGlinchey, if he's able to go, like that's very helpful to the tackle. Even better. But I think they win the battle in the trenches on both sides either way.
I agree with you. And yeah, Kirk Cousins is always a little dangerous because I think he's been playing at a pretty high level despite not being able to move around. And yet I think his offensive line, they're a very average pass protecting group. Like you would think they had this reputation at the Falcons as a good pass protecting group.
Well, it's just because they're all drafted so high.
Right.
They're all like first rounders.
They're okay. They're not bad. They're not good, but this is against a very good pass rush. So this is the first week of the season that we've agreed on 2 games. And we really agreed on 3 because you picked off what would have been my 4th pick. So we are both on the Texans covering 7.5. We are both on the Broncos covering 2.5. You have the Colts +4, which I wholeheartedly agree with. That is my pick, my extra pick in the box. I have the Packers covering 5.5. That is my very favorite pick of the week. And then you kind of took really the only extra pick I felt really strong about, but I'll throw one, just a little one out there. Is I kind of like the Raiders actually getting 7 in Miami.
You like the Norv Scott Turner, the Turner family bump.
I just feel like the Dolphins aren't a good enough team to be favored by 7 against basically anyone. Maybe if it was the Bears, I would be okay with it, like because I'm so down on the Bears or the Cowboys. But I think the Raiders coming off a bye, pretty good pass rush. They're too, like, I think the Dolphins' defense, it'll just be low and ugly. So you're giving me 3 7 points. But that's why it's an extra pick.
Tackle's also missing too. And you know where Max Crosby lines up?
Yes. There you go.
Good job. A guy with the last name of Lamb going against Max Crosby just doesn't work.
But that's just a little extra pick. And to be honest, my extra picks have been just like 500 lately. We're riding high on the top 3.
Sure. Wait, I want to give an extra pick too, though, because I have another one here.
Please do.
What is the number you see for Cleveland? Because I've seen it bouncing around, but I have Cleveland winning.
Okay. Yeah. Now they're favored by 1, but before they were an underdog by 1.
Right. So, but I have Cleveland winning this game, and I love Nick Chubb. I'm a huge Nick Chubb stan, and he's going to get his over 50 rushing touchdown, which puts him in a club with some Hall of Famers. So, like Jim Brown, like really good players. So, hey, you know,
less talked about than the fired coach principle. Like it kind of fades after that first week. You know, I think long term they'll be better with Darren Rizzi than they were with Dennis Allen, but. This is a toss-up to me, but I also picked the Browns, and so I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I also, I mean, look, I think that it's much harder to defend erratic. Jameis Winston can be erratic. We know that. He's going to throw it deep, but he could throw a pick, he could throw a deep like explosive plays makes things harder, and their defense still has been missing tackles. Their defense still has not been really stout at limiting Yaka, either one. That's going to be hard because I just think as good as the Browns defense, to me,
I'm with you.
It's
I think the Browns defense is the most trustworthy group in this game, but
100%.
It did not make it onto my card just because nothing about these 2 teams is too trustworthy. So
no, but that's my extra.
Yeah, that's your little extra pick. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Once again, check out her YouTube channel, Numbers Game.
Yeah.
That's where it is all happening. Check out NFL Game Day View. Subscribe to NFL Daily on YouTube. We really want to get the subscriber numbers up. And Blue Sky. Is that what you're talking about? We both signed up for Blue Sky.
Yeah, we both signed up for Blue Sky. I'm still not really, like, is it just the same thing as Twitter? I don't really know.
I don't know, but
we'll figure it out at some point.
It seems nice.
But also, your pod with
Anthony, the Justin Licken Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRV. Yes.
It's really good.
We are back, and we're back in the mix. That is it for this week's show. We will be back on Sunday night, of course, with Nick Shook and Patrick Claybon. Looking forward to that. And yes, when we're hitting the middle of November and we believe, football is back.
Believe.